Big thanks to BC and Robin Leach. Speaking of the rich and famous, happy to be joined by my award-winning broadcast partner on Showtime Championship Boxing, former two-division champ, Paulie Malignaggi. I did that for your mom.
Yeah, well, she'll thank you. If she's watching, she'll thank for my grandma.
Hey, Paulie, all kidding aside, my man, we're just days away now from the biggest fight of this generation. Did you ever think we'd get to this point?
I had mixed feelings at that time. It looked like a fight was going to happen, then it didn't look like it was going to happen, then it would, so I think people's emotions got kind of toyed with, kind of played with, but I think everybody had a sigh of relief when the fight was finally signed, and I think we get to fight week and the fight hasn't been canceled yet, so I think there's even a bigger sigh of relief. It's definitely the fight of the century thus far, for sure. I mean, obviously the century still has 85 years left in it, but thus far through the first 15 years of the century, this is certainly the biggest hyped fight.
You've been in big fights. Miguel Cotto, you've defended your title. You've also been very loquacious at press conferences with the likes of Adrian Broner, Amir Khan. Hey man, you were even called out at a press conference by Keith Thurman. What did you think about the behavior of both Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao during both press conferences?
At the end of the day, so much has happened in the past 5 years. I think the guys are kind of just relieved that they're here. They're kind of soaking in the moment because this is big even by their standards. You know, these guys are used to big fights, but even by their standards, this is bigger. This is something, you know, this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and most people's lifetimes you don't experience this. Even high-level fighters don't experience things like this. So I think they've just been more like soaking it in. It's been the calm before the storm, where you're kind of soaking it in, let it all seep in, and charge up your emotions for Saturday night. Don't waste emotion too much before the fight. And I think throughout the course of the promotion, there's been a couple of shots taken at each other here and there, away when they're away from each other, but ultimately at both press conferences, the announcing press conference and yesterday's press conference, showed us that, I think they're saving it for Saturday night, and that's only better for the fans. I think you'd rather have a good fight anyway than have great press conferences and a dull fight. So ultimately, if it's a great fight, nobody's going to care about the dull press conferences.
What do you think is going through their mind now, knowing that it's just literally hours away?
I mean, what goes through your mind, I think, is the same pattern that you go for every fight. I mean, I think a fighter has to be a creature of habit. And so whatever they've done in the past fight weeks is what they should keep doing, because you don't want to change things suddenly or drastically from what the norm is. Obviously, the norm has been very successful for them. So, usually for a fighter on fight week, you just remind yourself that all the hard work is done and it's behind you and it's past you. You remind yourself of how hard you worked throughout training camp and that you're ready for the combat that's coming ahead at the end of the week. You stay calm. Floyd Mayweather said that he's going to watch movies, not many movies, just random movies. And sometimes you do that just to, put your mind away from the fight, because your mind is always on the fight 24/7 so much, because it's such a big deal and the event is so big that you don't want to overexert and burn yourself out emotionally. So sometimes, there'll be fighters that, like Floyd said the other day, will just watch movies, and that'll get your mind not thinking about the fight. It'll put your mind somewhere else. And so just to kind of keep yourself relaxed, keep yourself mellowed out, and so come Saturday, then you start to raise the tempo a little bit.
One key for each fighter, the biggest key for Floyd Mayweather, the biggest key for Manny Pacquiao.
Floyd has to be Floyd, and that dictate that pace his way, gain control of the danger, and right away, and basically put the fire extinguisher to that fire. Manny's going to be the fire. He's going to be the guy who's going to try to come out fast, be explosive, make this a fire fight. Floyd has to extinguish that pretty quickly. He has to set the tone in that to show Manny, hey, this is not going to be that kind of fight. And if he can set that tone early, that this is not going to be that kind of fight, then it can become your typical Floyd Mayweather fight, where there comes an understanding, and then from there, the opponent kind of accepts his demise. Not so much quits, but kind of accepts his demise and realizing that, hey man, no matter what I do here, it's not working, and I'm paying with little pot shots, little counters and whatnot. So I think it's important for Floyd to kind of gain that control. For Manny, he's got to make this a firefight. One thing you notice about Floyd Mayweather, he never exchanges. He's able to control you without ever getting into a single exchange. And it makes him maybe not fun to watch, because fans love exchanges. Fans love violent exchanges, and Manny gives you those violent exchanges. So it's hard to control an opponent without getting into at least a few exchanges and winning them, and then you gain control of the fight. Floyd Mayweather has managed to do that his whole career. How many exchanges have you seen Floyd Mayweather involved in? He's able to somehow control the tempo, control the pace, control the distance, control the range in a way where he doesn't need to exchange to gain control of the fight.
How does Manny disrupt that?
So Manny has to disrupt that by finding ways in. flow his way into Floyd's punch range without jumping in. He's gonna have to be creative. He does feint. You know, you would say feinting is one of those ways you kind of flow in. Manny has to find a way to flow into Floyd's punching range, get his punches off, and then be out and kind of disrupt Floyd's timing that way. And if he's able to do that smoothly, the transition in and the transition out smoothly, because it's not just the punches. Your transition into distance and your transition back out of distance has to come smoothly. If he's able to do that smoothly, then you can disrupt Floyd a little bit and get him thinking. But if you're not able to do that smoothly, if you start feinting and then losing patience because your feint gets Floyd out of range, then you just have to jump in to make up the rest of the range. You're just going to walk into counters. You're going to either walk into counters or you're going to miss altogether. Your combination is going to fizzle out before it gets to the ones you want to throw, which is 4, 5, 6. In order for Manny to get off these 4, 5, 6 punch combinations, he's got to be in range to do them. If Floyd changes range on him after the first 2, or if he pot shots in between the first 1 and 2, it'll disrupt the whole combination and it'll fizzle out. So for the fight, the important thing for this fight for me is the range control, distance control, range control. They each have their own set distance and range. They're both outside fighters. They're both better from the outside, but their distance is a little bit different from what the other one wants. And so whoever gains control of that, I think, starts to control the fight. And from there, it evolves.
Tante grazie, fratello.
Prego.
He's Paulie Malignaggi. Looking forward to his insight Saturday, live on pay-per-view for Mayweather Pacquiao. And guess what? MayPac Daily wants to cover the cost of your pay-per-view party with a $250 gift card. All you have to do is tweet at ShowSports with today's phrase that pays hashtag, and on Friday we will announce the winner. Now I want to congratulate Wednesday's winner, Maricela Mora. Hey, fittingly enough, we're going to wrap up this edition of MayPac Daily with a wager between two of the superstars who will be in attendance Saturday night for Mayweather Pacquiao. Thank you for watching.